Christmas movie content. I'm a huge fan of Christmas movies. I always make it a big deal what my first one's going to be, or what I'm going to watch on Christmas Day if I have time for one. This year my first one was The Grinch, because it's my favorite Christmas movie. But I wanted to talk about a couple today. Also, it's very windy, just like it was a while ago in my last video, because the weather is the exact same as every single day. We have windy weather, we have rainy weather. Anyway, I would like to begin this video by talking about The Grinch. The Grinch, this is, by the way, the Jim Carrey Grinch. I couldn't think of what year it came out, but that movie is not one that I paid too much attention to for years, and suddenly it is my favorite Christmas movie. It's tied with a couple, like some are close, but The Grinch just about edges it out, and it is my favorite Christmas movie of all time. It is adorable, it is funny, it's cute and adorable and funny and cute and adorable. It is all of those things. The setting of it, it's inside a snowflake. That's so cute. The characters are all so cute. Anyway, it's great. I wanted to talk, so I have no expectation of how long this video is going to be. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to talk about each movie, but specifically for The Grinch, I wanted to listen. There may be some spoilers in here. I'm going to try timestamp these, so that if you want to skip on, please go ahead and do it. I don't want to ruin any movie for you. First of all, I will do like a non-spoiler section, if you want to listen to that, and then I will tell you when I'm going to get into like plot points or whatever, and you can skip to the next one, or do this, I don't know, take out your earphones or something. You can leave as well if you want. I'm not going to be here to stress you out on Christmas week. So, The Grinch, yes, as I said, the characters are beautiful, great, and Jim Carrey is funny, and he's like got this kind of like, you cannot hate him kind of villain way. It's these songs in it are so cute. I will say the new Grinch with, I think it's Benedict Cumberbatch as the Grinch. I watched that really recently, and they killed the music in it. I think Tyler the Creator did it, and he did You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch, and it's so good. It doesn't fit the tone of the other movie, but it's great. Where Are You Christmas? I mentioned that in my rumble, is probably my favorite Christmas song from my favorite Christmas movie. So adorable, and I relate to it in a way where it's like you're kind of figuring out what Christmas is now, and how your relationship is with the holiday itself. It's also very cute, like a redemption story, and Cindy is just so pure, and also it's Taylor Momsen who plays Jenny from Gossip Girl, and she's in that band. It's great. Everything about that movie is so good. I think the part where he's a little kid is so funny, where he shaves his face and stuff like that. But I suppose I'll get into like plot points now. I've already gone into a little bit with the shaving face thing, but if you do not want to know about the whole story of The Grinch and haven't seen the movie, I urge you to watch it first of all. But yeah, if you don't want it to be spoiled or anything, there's not a lot to spoil, I suppose. Head over to the next movie that you've seen, or the next movie you're interested in, or whatever. But my favorite part is definitely the redemption in terms of how he steals all the presents, and Cindy is so cute about it when he comes in and steals her presents, and then he comes, he gives everything back, and everyone's delighted and happy, and he's the cheermeister, and it's wonderful. I think it has a good build-up of like he's evil and hateful, and he like slowly gets happier and more welcoming and warm. Whereas I'm gonna kind of mix both in because my favorite Grinch movie is Jim Carrey, whereas the other one I think because I'm so attached to the Jim Carrey one, I have kind of like conflictingness about the new one, which is the Benedict Cumberbatch one. It might not be Benedict Cumberbatch, but I think it is. Anyway, that one to me all felt like he was not that evil or not that horrible. And then suddenly, like, he was meant to be really evil and horrible, but he was still kind of liked and loved, and like nobody really feared him at all. Whereas in the Jim Carrey one, everyone's terrified of the Grinch, and there's like such a good kind of mystery and everything about the Grinch in that one. Whereas in the new one, it is a lot more like, you know, he's been down to Whoville, and it's not really like, oh, there's the Grinch, everyone run away. But yeah, I think he kind of turns very quickly, and there's a little bit of sadness in it in the new one, where, you know, he's an orphan and stuff, which is in the Jim Carrey one, but it's not really talked about. Well, in the Jim Carrey one, he's not an orphan, he just kind of he doesn't like Christmas because Martha May doesn't accept his Christmas present because he gets bullied, which is sad. But the new one, he's like an orphan and hates Christmas because everyone else was celebrating and getting Christmas presents and he didn't get anything. So yeah, I liked that part of the Benedict Cumberbatch one, but it just wasn't for me. Max was very cute, and he had the little reindeer, which was very cute, and his family. It was, you know what, it was not as bad as I expected it to be. Music was great. I did not like the Cindy they chose. She was very much like rough, kind of like, I'm gonna do what I want kid, while also being really, really sweet. But I think Cindy in the original Grinch is just so, or in the Jim Carrey Grinch, is so like pure, and I think there's a little bit of like that pureness that's just different in the new one, that I was kind of like, I wish she was a bit more pure and cute. But overall I didn't hate it. I thought it was okay. The Grinch himself was not terrible. I thought the big huge tree was beautiful in that one. So yeah, overall not bad. The Grinch is my favorite. It makes me cry every time, just near the end. You know, you gotta have a good cry with a Christmas movie. But I think that's it for the Grinch. I think I'm gonna move on to, I have a list over here of Christmas movies. I've just written down a couple, so if you see me looking there, I'm looking at my next list. But this next one I've really recently watched. It's called It's a Wonderful Life, which is a really, really old movie. And it's like a Christmas classic, and I'd never watched it before. I've never seen it. I've heard so much about it. I knew the plot of it. It's very much like Christmas Carol-esque, if you've seen that. But I suppose there's not really a lot of like okay, there's a little bit. So it's early. Oh, I think it's like 30s that it came out. It must be like 1930s that it came out. It's black and white, obviously. It's very old, and it is about a guy who has a tough time and considers ending his life, and then he is able to see the impact that he had on his life, or that he has on other people's lives if he was never born. That's basically the plot. There's a lot of stuff beforehand setting it up, like the actual content of him never being alive is only about half an hour out of this 2-hour movie, so it's kind of like, you know, the like not too much of it, which is actually really good. But I think I'm just gonna get right into spoilers because this one I've seen recently and it's actually very exciting, so I'm gonna just get into spoilers again next one if you don't want to hear about it. recommendation when I go into an old movie, especially an old Christmas movie. I haven't seen Miracle on 34th Street, which I know is another really, really classic Christmas movie that I definitely will watch. Hopefully this week. I don't know. I might get around to it. Also, I'd like to know if you would like to, or I'd like to know your favorite Christmas movies, which I know it's a bit far in how to say this, but if you have any recommendations, definitely down for some. Anyway, this one is, as I said, about him not being there, or not ever being alive, and, he sees the value of him in other people's lives. It's very cute. It has like a really long setup. It's like an hour and a half of setup for this point. He has like he gets married, he has some kids, his business is going well. It's really, really good. Up until, so he ends up, like, his life is great up until he ends up losing the 8,000, and he has to pay it back, and he can't. He's gonna lose his job, and he's angry, so he goes out and he goes to try and end his life. And then the angel comes by and says, the angel who doesn't get his wings yet, and he helps him see the way that his life would be without people in it, or without him in it. So he sees what his wife is doing. He sees, that if he wasn't there, the town would have changed names, and it would have been like completely different. And it was just really beautiful towards the end, because everyone comes together, obviously, as if you've seen it. They come together and they give him all the money that he's able to reimburse the money lost, and he's just cute. And I did find it very heartwarming towards the end, with the little note from the angel and stuff like that, which I can't remember his name. I think it was Clarence, but I don't fully remember, so correct me if you know what his name was. But yeah, I don't have a lot to talk about this one. This one was just kind of like a cute movie, although I did feel like it could have really been set at any point in the year. It hadn't got like a huge amount to do with Christmas, much like the next one that I'm going to go into, which is Love Actually. But it was kind of like, it didn't really matter that it was by Christmas, but it's still cute that it was by Christmas, it didn't make me like hate the movie because it was set in Christmas, but I definitely felt like it could have been set at any point in the year and still still have the same kind of impact. But moving on to my third movie that I wanted to talk about, which is Love Actually. Another movie that I saw this year for the first time. It's one of those ones that everyone has been telling me to watch for years and years and years, and I was like, no, I'm sorry, it's not the movie for me, I'm just not going to do it. And it turns out it's really good. Unfortunately, I wanted to be the one to like watch it and be like, sorry, that's just not great, but it is good. Again, I felt like it didn't have to be set at Christmas. It could have been set any time of the year, and it would have been really good. But the fact that it was set at Christmas was also cute. It was definitely a lot different than what I thought it was going to be. I had a completely different picture in my head. I thought it was going to be very much like, I knew it was ensemble. I know it had a lot of people in it, and it was like different love stories, but I didn't expect it to be so like disjointed but also connected, in that like clever, cute way. I expected it to be like very much a family, and they all kind of like, I don't know, love each other. I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm gonna get into spoilers now if you don't want to hear them. Basically, I loved how they all connected and stuff in a way. I don't think they all connected, I think, or maybe they did, but I feel like some of them didn't have a connection. They were just kind of out there, but it was still really good to see they had like kind of happy, sad, mostly happy stories in terms of love. There was like a lot of heartbreak within it, was definitely I think she was Portuguese. It was Colin Firth. He was the writer, and his wife or his partner was cheating on him, and he went over to do writing by himself, and he wrote his book, and he had a maid or a housekeeper, and he started falling in love with her, but there was this language barrier that was really, really cute, and he went back to England and learned Portuguese, and she learned English, and very cute. Also, really liked the Prime Minister storyline. You know what, I liked all the storylines. I think it was really good. I think it was put together really well. Yeah, I really don't have that many complaints, apart from the fact that it could have been set at any time of year, but it doesn't matter because it's set at Christmas, so it's a Christmas movie, so irrelevant. The kids' love story was so cute. Him playing the drums for her, and her like playing on stage, and then she does the "All I Want for Christmas Is You," and she points at him, and then she starts pointing at everyone because you think like, oh, she loves him, and then you're like, oh wait, never mind. But also I like that they treated this like kid's love story. It wasn't like, okay kid, you know, bye, I'm a big adult and I have to deal with all this love. They gave us love story to a kid, which was just so, you don't see that, and it was just so innocent and cute. So I like that one a lot. I'm trying to think of the other ones. I really enjoyed the guy going over to America to procreate. That was great. You see, I didn't really realize it was a comedy. I thought it was like one of those romance movies that had like little funny one-liners here and there, but I'm not sure the names, but the ones who were like stand-ins, I think they were stand-ins for an adult film, or like they were camera testing. But it was very funny because obviously they're doing these like sex acts, but they're just chatting about like the weather, the Prime Minister and stuff, and they kind of like get to know each other a little bit while they're doing all this, and then they get engaged at the end. So very, very cute. Funny. That's the funny one, I think. It's definitely the funnier one. Overall, it's a good time. It's a really good time. Not too long. It's not demanding, you know, it's a casual watch. I think, well, it's casual, but also you can miss little details, like the ways in which they connect and stuff, if you're not paying attention. But it is still a great time, and I enjoyed it very much. My next one is, my next one is Arthur Christmas, which, oh my god, this movie, it's pretty recent, I think, 2009-ish, I have no idea, that's a complete guess, but it's newish. As an animated film, if you've never seen it, it is so wonderful and so adorable. Oh, I think everybody should watch this movie. It's so pure and so creative and so different. Basically, the plot is Arthur, his name is Arthur Christmas, and Arthur is the son of Santa Claus, who goes around the world, but the Santa Clauses have kind of developed over time. There's not just one Santa who's lived forever, it's like passed down generations, and everything's really high tech, and they have a really big, huge sleigh that's like all these army of elves and stuff. Like there's no reindeer anymore, and it's just so adorable. I'm gonna get into spoilers, so here we go. Arthur obviously is in charge of, he's in the letters department, so he's writing all these letters back to kids, which is so adorable. And Steve is the other brother, and he's in charge of all the technical stuff and making sure that the S1 flies and all of that. But there's such a heart to this movie where Arthur is just so in love with Christmas and so selfless that, the bike there's a waker, somebody wakes up and there's a big stressful time and a bike ends up falling and not being delivered to a kid on time. And, or not on time, but, it's not delivered to them. Their present isn't delivered because it was knocked off the conveyor belt. And, so the movie is basically fueled by the fact that they have to get this toy to this kid who they missed. But the dynamic between Arthur and Grand Santa and Mrs. Claus and Steve and all the elves, it's just, it's really great. I think they all have different personalities. Mrs. Claus is like Michelle Obama. She's, meeting all these important people and like doing all this like independent stuff, and Santa's just out there, placing one present. It's got funny elements, Grand Santa is funny. Bryony, who's the packing elf, she's in charge of wrapping, so good. It's funny, it's cute, and it's really heartwarming. Also, for me, the idea of it is just like beyond creative and cool. If I had seen this movie when I was younger, it would have been like, okay, this is how Santa Claus operates. It would have been the definite way for me, because I love the idea of it. I love the idea of it being true and it being the way things happen. But yeah, obviously now that I'm a little bit older, it's not going to be something that influences how I believe in the magic of Christmas. But yeah, it's just great. It's wonderful. It is a 10 out of 10 movie for me. Just beyond. Every time, again, the end makes me cry. It's so just cute seeing how selfless he is, and how much he just loves like Christmas and making kids happy, and it's just great. It's great. You know what? It's great. The next one is another recent movie that I've seen, which is called Klaus, Netflix original film. Very, very, I've heard really good things about it, but I never watched it. It's an animated movie. I had a day where I basically watched The Grinch, I watched Arthur Christmas, and then I watched Klaus. So I watched Klaus first. Anyway, doesn't matter. But it's so good as well. It's got this beautiful little, origin of Santa in a kind of believable way. There's no there's no magic elements to it. It's just very much like the postman is sent to this place and he's just got to do his job, and this is the way he finds out how to make the 6,000 letter cap. By the way, getting into the plot now, so I just feel like again, really creative and really interesting way of giving an origin to Santa, and really, really beautiful animation. Oh my god, so pretty. The music was so nice. It was funny at times. It was sweet. It was there was character growth. It was just pretty. It was great. It was just such a nice, serene little movie. It just it's cozy. I felt cozy the whole way through. And then having that little magical element at the end where where he passes on, and he still delivers the presents every year is just so adorable. The fact that you build up this realism, and then just it's time to be magical, say other than it's so good about every single movie, because I'm not a movie reviewer at all. But you know, it doesn't matter. They're just recommendations, or they're just rambling content in your ears. So hopefully you're getting something out of it. Hopefully it pushes you to watch it, or you're getting some validation out of the fact that you like this movie too. Or maybe you'll give it a second try if you haven't, or if you've watched it and didn't really enjoy it. Then again, you might not just like it. It might not be for you, and that's totally fine too. A lot of movies are just not for people. But that's all I really have to say about Klaus. Definitely recommend it if you haven't seen it. Super good. Okay, this next one is going to be really short. It is Krampus. And Krampus is a kind of anti-Santa-esque movie. I'm pretty sure it's German folklore, German urban legend kind of thing, where Krampus comes to the bad kids and steals Christmas and, I don't know, murders them or something. He does bad stuff. But this movie is wild. There is like gingerbread men who are talking and fighting and killing. It's crazy. I need to rewatch it because I watched it in the cinema and was just like blown away by how weird it was. I don't even know if I think it's good. I just know it's very strange. So that's all I have to say about this one. Just a really short, quick recommendation. If you're looking for a weird movie, this is the one to look for. Moving on to our second last one, we have Elf. Elf is starring Will Ferrell as an elf, Buddy the Elf. And if you have not seen this movie, it is highly recommended that you check it out. Very funny, very cute, very heartwarming, you know. It's got all the elements that I've said so far about a Christmas movie. It is wonderful in its story, its music. Also recently looked at how they made this, and it's incredible how much work went into making Will look really big compared to everyone else. And I thought they used like green screen and stuff like that, but apparently it was all through a technique called forced perspective. And forced perspective is basically where the camera is where it is, and you are forced to, obviously forced perspective is to see what the camera is seeing. So, for example, my hand looks big because it's right there, but it's actually the same size, you know. My hand it didn't grow smaller, but for example, Will Ferrell is up here, and then the elves are here. So it's like Will Ferrell's big and the elves are small, which was really cool to see how much effort they put into all that instead of just copying out with green screen. They also built all the sets for like the North Pole and stuff like that. So, and apparently a lot of when he gets to New York and he's outside, it's all just like, Will Ferrell's just out in New York. There's no, there's no actors there, which is so strange to think that he just, you know, there's that moment where he sees the Santa Claus look alike, and apparently that was just like a guy on the street that they just found. Having done a film course, it really stresses me out to do that kind of stuff, because in order to release something like that, every single person's face needs to have a release form signed, or they need to be like aware of the filming before the event starts. So before the filming begins, they need to have like gotten a letter to say, hey, we're going to be filming on this street, whatever. So if you're there, you're going to be in the film. Or these people have obviously, or have gotten a sheet to say, yes, my face can be in the movie. Illegally, I'm pretty sure that's how you have to do it, and that's terrifying to imagine all the people that's faces were shown, and to be like, hey, can you you sign this? Can you sign this? Can you sign this? It's so weird. And I also hate that I think like that instead of just enjoying the movie now. Now when I watch that movie, I'm gonna think, oh my god, that person had to sign a form, and that person had to sign a form. I'm not. But it's just too enjoyable to only focus on that part of it. But it is, it's very, very funny. It is also a cute little love story. It is acceptance. It is, growth. It is like, it's got some really interesting themes in it, while also being goofy and funny and ridiculous. So it's really got everything you're gonna need. I think that, I could talk about all the different little plot elements where he, works in the mailroom and thinks it's syrup and drinks the alcohol, and then he's dancing on the table. Like, there's so many little funny moments, and but I think especially the end, where it goes from this kind of funny leveled movie where it's funny and cute at times, but when they're trying to spread Christmas cheer and they're singing, and it's just really, really nice, and the ending is very nice. Everyone is happy and gets a good, happy ending. There's no negativity. Nobody doesn't end up with somebody. There's nobody that doesn't, that loses their job and has a bad day, or it's just good. It's just all good, and it's just happy and fun. So overall, it's a great Christmas movie. Okay, the final one that I want to talk about is A Christmas Carol, and the one that I specifically would like to talk about is the one with Jim Carrey in it. So we're beginning with Jim Carrey's Grinch, and we're ending with his Christmas Carol. It's not his movie, but he's in it. I watched that movie in the cinema as well, and it terrified me when it came out. I watched it in 3D, and there's just things popping out, and there's it's very, very scary for a child, but it is very, very good. The animation is very creepy and good as well. So yeah, I don't know if there's a huge amount to say about it without going into the plot. So basically, as I'm sure most of you know, The Christmas Carol is basically about Ebenezer Scrooge, who doesn't really care about Christmas and is forced to face his Christmas past, present, and future, and to see how he could be a better person, or he's kind of scared into being a better person. And obviously the end, he wakes up from the night of Christmas Eve, and he's very delighted and happy and excited, and gets a Christmas turkey and pays for, I don't know, sick Timmy's leg or something like that. I don't remember, but happiness at the end. But the ghost of his business partner, which I think his name is Marley, coming up the stairs, he has these chains, and it just goes doo, 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 up the stairs, and he throws a chain through the door, and it goes doo, on the floor. I don't want to make a loud sound, but oh my god. In the cinema, popcorn in hand, it went everywhere. My popcorn went all over the place. I was so embarrassed. I'm a very jumpy person anyway, but as a child, I was unbearably jumpy. So yeah, it really got me, and it is always a memory I will associate with that movie. But it's still very, very good. It's trippy, it's weird, it's got big giant Christmas future guy. The ghost of Christmas past is insane. He's a weird cat doll looking guy. The ghost of Christmas present has two scary little kids underneath them. I don't know what that's about. And then the ghost of future doesn't say anything, he just kind of points and is the Grim Reaper. But yeah, there's not a whole lot to talk about in terms of that. It's great if you haven't seen it. I've spoiled the whole thing, but we have chatted about movies. I think it is time for me to go. I'm getting really tired. I would love to go watch a movie right now, but you know, it's late, and I think we should go sleep. So, until Christmas Eve.